The first summit in Zermatt, there was a key moment that transformed my life was when I met a YGL. We hadn't ever met. He didn't even say his name, and the first thing he said as he was shaking my hand, it was, "What are you passionate about?" And after receiving that question and being asked that question and answering it very superficially, eventually it became into a deep soul searching process where I eventually decided to do what I was really passionate about and really change careers.
You know, many of us have been brought in as leaders in one field, and so many of us during our time at the YGLs have actually changed significantly how we spend our lives. And actually, it's been very interesting to see how many people have gone from doing relatively straightforward corporate jobs to doing something with a real social mission. And I think the YGLs have actually, and the conversations we've had, have actually really changed a lot of people's lives.
I have had experiences that have enriched and I have been able to scale up some of the things that I do and I'm passionate about it, especially with my Centers for Malnutrition Children and the experiences that I have had as a businessman as well, and how to incorporate both things together. But I'm not going to single out a special moment because I think that every single experience with the YGL class that I've been part of, the 2005s, and then the add-ons that we have had over the years, have been pretty special. I mean, one of the things that I find in general as a theme that I can relate to is that we are a community, we're not a network.
I think that's really important, that we are a community that are close enough to each other that we can say, hey, we are actually vulnerable, I'm vulnerable, life can be really tough and difficult, but we can overcome it. And there's several ways we can do that, but we also need to talk about, the spiritual side, the emotional part of what we're doing.
Imagine being stuck in a situation, stranded, where you have so many thoughts and suddenly a fellow YGL just reaches out to you and say, you're part of my family, draw on my resources over here, and I want you to be as comfortable and as much helped as possible. That, I think, epitomizes what the YGL community and the YGL spirit is about.
The leadership baggage that we all came with is left at the door, and we just become people again, people who are caring about how we change the world. And as a result, there's been a tremendous sense of trust that what we say within the YGL stays within the YGLs. All those things, to me, coming at a point when you're in your life where you're already fairly established, that kind of openness to new friendships that are really deep is quite an amazing privilege.
People across business and government and the media, people who don't connect with youth on a daily basis, were there, open arms, open hearts, and really there, committed to make a difference in the community. And that's when I realized the power of this global community to shape the world and to make a difference in the world.
It's about passion. Everybody in the community is passionate about something that ultimately will help to make the world a tiny bit of a better place to live.
I think every summit presents its own occasions. For me, a lot of those moments have been the private conversations that you have. But in a number of these meetings, we've had the opportunity to be part of groundbreaking new conversations. For instance, one of the big occasions in my life was listening to Al Gore do his inconvenient truth talk before it was a movie. It was just a private conversation in Davos with a number of YGLs.
I come from Latin America, long flight, receive a letter, YGL, what is it all about? What is this? So, I went there and I found out that the criteria that they selected people, I must say, was terrific because the bonding didn't take long.
So there was a lot of debate around the subject matter. But what really happened after a couple of days of debate was that we got out there to do some outdoor activities together, where we then really bonded, because it was no longer about whose perspective, whose future that we're building, but discovering each other as a fellow human being.
So we thought, what could be the one thing that bound all YGLs together, that didn't separate us, that didn't lead us into different directions, that allowed us to talk about spirituality without getting wrapped up in the religion? Well, that issue was dignity. And so we launched, after Zermatt, Global Dignity.
All of a sudden, we all felt that in principles, values, we all share something really strong.
That was one of the magical and changing moments in the YGL community.
Really leave aside any sense of just talking your own book, talking your own professional line, and open up yourself and actually have deep conversations with people, conversations without an agenda. And the fact is that so many great initiatives have come out of the 5 years that we've been going. And they've not come out of it through deliberate planning, they've come out of it through conversations and meetings, unexpected meetings, having dinners together, all those sorts of things.
Very simple. Contribute into the task forces and interact with your colleagues and be spontaneous and take on board projects.
Well, a couple of things. One is make the best of it. Really, the sky is the limit. And the great thing about the YGL community, it's built by us. It's not something that is built by the World Economic Forum or by somebody top down. It's built by us. And you can make whatever you want of it. And it's extremely powerful. But I have news for you. It only means a responsibility. So now that you're a young global leader and you've been awarded that, what are you going to do with that? What is it that you're going to grab and take that to make it much bigger?
I wanted the World Economic Forum, I wanted Klaus Schwab to do something. I wanted them to create a platform that I could move on. They said, that's not our role. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're not going to tell you how to do it. We're not going to make it easy for you. We're going to create an environment and a structure and a framework for the house. But you've got to design the architecture for that house. You've got to design where the beams go. You've got to figure out what kind of furniture you want in. You've got to design the wallpaper. You've got to make that vision real. That's the toughest thing.
These 5 years are going to go by really fast. Get involved, get engaged, participate, give into this community, invest in this community, and the community will reward you and will accept you and really make you a part of it. So enjoy it, love it, live it, and have fun.
When you get involved in some of the initiatives of the YGLs, I have found in my experience the ones that last the longest are not necessarily the ones that are directly your interest. It more comes down to the chemistry of the other YGLs that are involved.
You can have an impact using your business footprint to do something different. If you try and do something completely different, something outside your area, you're going to be doing that alongside your business, whereas I think you get most impact if you actually integrate it with what you do.
And one thing I can definitely say is being surrounded by young global leaders really elevates the bar of what you can take on, and also changes your perspective on how you can be effective. And so I've been so energized and motivated by people here. I found energy I never even realized that I had, and I thought I had a lot coming into this community.
Every time that I've been hesitating about should I go, it's a long way to go, it's expensive, I'm going to leave work, it's, you know, I might have to take vacation days. It really, the questions all answered themselves the minute I arrived and sort of came into the embrace of this amazing community and the amazing people here. It really is something to get as involved in as you possibly can, make the effort, and enjoy it.
It's given me a real boost. I feel more idealistic now about changing the world than I did 10 years ago.
Wondering where am I going to get the energy that I get every time I come and meet with all the YGLs.
We do need to find something to make sure that in one way or another we keep seeing each other and inspiring each other.
I have a huge challenge, which is that I'm very persecuted in my country, and we're going through very difficult times. And my biggest challenge is to make sure that I keep my principles and values intact through this process. And to the core, I'm going to ride it through, I'm going to fight it out, and I'm going to be there with my people, and I'm sure that the community that I have been able to be part of and the friends of my classmates of 205, they've been very supportive, and this is something that I'll take for life, and hopefully in my next few years I'll be able to come on top.
I look at the question from two perspectives. One is, having now benefited from the YGL community and learning so much, what do I want to do in my own personal life? I think the first is to keep the spirit of the YGL community alive in everything that I do, to be a good person. I think that's fundamentally what this community teaches us.